All right. It's economic hardship in Nigeria, but some revenues are still coming in for government business. The Federal Account Allocation Committee says it shared 966.11 billion naira among 3 tiers of governments for July in 2023. The figure represents a marginal increase of 59.06 billion naira compared to 907.0 billion naira shared for June and the highest for the year. At a meeting chaired by the new Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, called for discipline in money supply to control inflation. MJ, lead us into this.
Yeah, the savings we are getting from, consecutively now, we have seen a tremendous increment in the amount shared to the 3 tiers of government. And kudos to the removal of a subsidy. Now, according to the president, Nigeria saves, since June, Nigeria has been saving a minimum of 400 billion naira per month, and also equivalent of $700 million per month as a result of subsidy removal. From about 69 million liters of petrol that they claimed were consuming on a daily basis since about 10 years. Suddenly, when subsidy was removed on May 29, now we are oscillating between 32 million liters per barrel. That's about 30 million liters, or about 50% reduction in consumption. And that is why, now that government is partially subsidizing fuel, it is still manageable, because now we have known the level of consumption now. And so that's what that's what the new Minister of Finance is saying, that we need financial and fiscal discipline going forward so that we can continue to, manage inflationary trends. And I think I want to appeal to our governors not to go back to the free-for-all months spending, where, because a lot of
everything
money,
that comes in,
yes, a lot of money is going into,
must be shared.
They must ensure that some of this increment in allocation percolates down to the grassroots. I can see that some of them have been buying a lot of food stuff, and while the federal government is also allocating grains from the national reserves, because we need to also manage inflationary trends. The highest, there are months where allocation was as low as 460-something billion among the 3 tiers of government, but we are talking of 966 billion now. So while we are happy that the money is rising, we also have to be mindful of inflationary trends. So it's like a double whammy that we really need to manage. So, and I'm happy that the Minister of Finance knows his onions. Wale Edun is, as in his days as Commissioner for Finance under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then as Governor of Lagos, was the one in charge when Lagos was able to manage with zero allocation to local governments for almost 2 years. So, while in the saddle at the federal level now, although some people will tell you Lagos is not Abuja, but then I know that I can bring his experience to bear in managing our macro and micro economies, especially as the coordinating minister of the economy. So he knows what he's talking about when he says we have to be careful of inflationary trends, especially with the increased allocation to the 3 tiers of government.
I think the government will need to also cut down the cost of governance, while they're telling us that we should be careful. Yes. And the Nigerians will want to see the effort they're making in doing that too.
Yes, they need to, because while they talk about cut down in cost of governance, they ask us to tighten our bets. But it's obvious that some of them in government are losing theirs while we are tightening ours. We've seen the allocations being made to the National Assembly, who are multi-billionaires. We've seen what they are taking. We've seen an increment in the number of federal ministries in terms of ministers. We are looking at a cut down, thinking that this current government will be able to cut down from what we had before. Let's, for us of today, we have 45 ministers, 3 more to go, making this the highest number of ministers we've had since 1999. Report just came out just today on what the take-home of these ministers is going to be in the next 4 years. It runs into billions. These ministers are going to appoint advisors. They are going to appoint special assistants. You are going to have special assistants to advisors, special assistants to special assistants. Yes, it's a fact. This is how we roll. And that is one. AY, the next level also will be the dissolve of parastatals, MDAs, MDGs, which I know most of them have been done so far. And new ones will be reconstituted. That is where the parties, the politicians get their shares and the rest. So, fine. We're making money from FAC, but I want to see how that can translate in the lives of Nigerians. AY, no matter whatever we make, if it doesn't bring down the prices of rice, if it doesn't bring down the prices of beans, if it doesn't bring down the prices of yam in the market, the average Nigerians will not feel the impact. And that is why personally, yes, I agreed, like MJ said, the issue of palliatives being given here and there. I am personally, I am one of those that are against these so-called palliatives. Let us look at it from the point. Because if you look at the trajectory and the way the politicians handle these issues, you come to realize that at the end of it all, these palliatives will get to the governors. It will be distributed to their party members. It has already started happening. I'm not talking about whether APC or any state where you have APC, that is going to happen. Where you have PDP, that's what is going to happen. Where it's going to have Labour, that is what is going to happen. And the question I've always asked, come to look at it. Are we looking at the short-term measures? Are we looking at the long-term measures? This to me is just more like a short-term measure. If you give up palliatives today, are we going to give up palliatives again tomorrow? Why don't we look at the bigger picture and see ways of making sure that some of this, but good enough. This is what some, I think Goodluck Jonathan talked about, MJ, you are the economist there, years back when we were saying that we should be having some reserve in place. I think that was during the period of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Yeah. It was some governors that refused. In fact, some of them took the government to court, if we remember vividly. So we wouldn't have been where we are today if we have done what we need to do yesterday. But good enough, this is happening, but I want to see how this is going to impact on the life of Nigeria. Whether we are saving 3 trillion or 20 trillion, whatever, let that impact. Nigerians are currently suffering, and that is the fact.
All right. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout.